And I want to start by anything that you're going to see next. None of this can happen before Dr. Shalhu or Pier Paolo type of interventions. So no next step that you will see can be done without consolidating the premises of where you're working. Okay, so first of all, my name is Kareen Nahhas. I'm Lebanese, and I was not always trained to restore things, but I'm a graduate of the School of Visual Art, and I'm a gold medalist from Van der Kielen Logelin, which is a big restoration at Trompe-l'œil School in Brussels. I've been doing this for over 37 years now. And here's a small example of things I've been asked to do in the past, such as, a trompe-l'œil, a faux bois, a gilding, a plastering, a stencil, a marble, work with a lot with plasters, gobetto, do abstract thing, etc., etc. Then when August 4th happened, I was facing this, and this, and all of this, and more of this. So we none of us really knew where to begin. We all thought we knew everything. And if you like surprises, this was a great year. So we began to begin with just by cleaning the surfaces. Now you need to understand that in Beirut at the time, there was no gloves, there was no masks, there was no anything, because we were in such state of devastation. And even the pictures that you will see are taken randomly with iPhones. So it's been one good week of trying to gather information. So the cleaning part goes section by section, and it's a combination of years. It's a combination of the blast. It was a combination of the water. And basically, we treated, in this particular job, in this particular case of a house, in restoration and trying to preserve everything we can possibly preserve. Okay, yes, me. One of the problem was bulging. So at the first site, when we entered the house, most of the walls were standing up. And the client we didn't see the extensive damage there was. We thought that it was just fixable by areas. This example of bulging, which happened all over the house. So what we did is we opened up, we cleaned up the back, which was the stones, the ramle stones, the sandstone stones, and recompressed original things, the original walls as they were, with just intervening in the cracks and then just touching up the cracks to end up having the result. Let me show you another example of this. So this was basically a typical wall. So you have the bulging, the little pieces that fell out. And at one point, it just really looked like a big puzzle work. And now it would have been a lot easier to just plaster the whole thing and say, I'm going to make it look old, which is an option, by the way. But in this particular job, heritage was really, really important. And boy, I had no idea how long it was going to take. So window number one is the bulging that was cleaned up. Window number two was like saving it like a puzzle piece to bring it back up. Window number three is the mortar, which is a lime plaster. Window number four is after retouching and plastering, the final result. You can see it if you really look at it, but if you didn't know it was there, it's not there anymore. So, same example now. So, in this house, in this particular job, there was many examples. There was wood grain, there was glazing, there was stenciling. Okay, hold here. So here's another example of cavities, which we're fixing. And then you see on the last screen, the little cavities that actually happen everywhere. Because on every crack or every big bulge, Okay, that was the easy part. That's the part we knew where the problem was. But the actual problem was not that. The actual problem, what happened in the rest of the walls that we thought were fine. So here's this room that we are. So for instance, on the bottom, it's a bird's eye maple wood grain. I saved what I could, and what I didn't have anymore, I filled. And on the right is the end result where you don't know the old from the new. Now, naturally, the whole entire place looked like that. So with a lot of patience and on different heights. So what I had done, I mixed my own pigments. Nothing synthetic in this particular job was used for the sake of this house. That is not the case in most houses. But when we got up to heights, we mixed the colors with acrylics to find them to go down to the ground and to recreate pigments with rabbit glues and different solutions and to match identically its original state. So I don't exactly know the date, but I believe it's probably 1875, 1870s that this paint job happened. Okay. Whole entire place looked like that too. It was a dislocation between the ceiling and the walls. And this grass we were just talking about is completely dismantled. I had two completely different levels. So screen on the top doesn't look so bad. Now we're starting to fix it. Our patches are bigger. And then we fill it up. It does no justice, these pictures, but these are all pretty much iPhone pictures with bad electricity conditions. But here we go. And in the middle, we created a rosace because we didn't have that left, being the centerpiece of the rooms. So this has a trompe-l'œil effect, which is three-dimensional. So basically, everything is possible to be done, either put back in place from what it used to be or recreate it. Okay, here are those cracks. So these cracks, as we spoke before, are super dangerous. And these cracks that don't look so bad, that a lot of people live with for many years, really dismantle the rest of the walls. So this little crack that you see is a lot worse than the big hole that you saw. So here, dealing with the cracks and doing injection, same thing. So in order not a lot of bubbling, a lot of separation between plaster and stone on the walls. Not detectable in my case by a tapping where I find a holiday. And in order to fix that, I make small holes and I do injection 1, 2, 3 over 2 days period to the point where the whole wall is like back on the stone. And this was not in one place. This was very, very frequent. Same thing between the walls and the moldings. Actually everywhere. In this particular house, now usually injection can be done with different materials, especially resins. In the case of this house, we took readings on the chemistry that was used. So I didn't introduce any whatsoever synthetic material. So somewhere I'm fortunate to have had that experience, but wow, this takes time. Another problem. So this we thought was this was our only problem. So we get up there and we realize that the whole thing is separated. Third screen, we realize it's falling off. Fourth screen, we have to reconstruct what we, at places, not all of it, only what I completely lost. Okay, so here we're gilding it, which is gold leafing for those that don't know. And so you have the old, the new, the to be done. So basically this type of work really encourages a lot of people involved, and everybody, there's a place for everybody to get through this. I was, after all my years of experience, there was no way I could identify the problems I was going to have and how I was going to solve them, because I believe in the next house, the approach might be different. Okay. This is very typical thing. So before and after. Also, by cleaning of the before, I was able to bring back. So I didn't do it randomly. I really respected as much as possible all it used to be. So I am almost certain that this is what it was meant to be. We're done? I can talk forever. Anybody has questions? Yeah. We have videos, we have things.
Can I ask my question in French? En français? J'ai pas compris juste c'est quoi le danger des fissures? Parce que j'ai une.
Dans les fissures, c'est tous les murs à côté. Hi. OK. Ouais.
Juste pour préciser, ce que vous avez vu, ce sont des finitions d'enduit et de plâtre et d'enduit à la chaux sur des murs en pierre ou des plafonds en bois. Donc, ce sont des surfaces de finition, ce ne sont pas les surfaces essentielles. OK? Juste pour préciser ça.
OK, alors les fissures, si tu me reviens, la fissure, en fait, c'est comme quand tu te blesses, tu es coupé là, mais en fait, toute ta main te fait mal et elle ne bouge plus, c'est pareil. Donc, tu as la fissure, mais à côté de la fissure, you have peeling, it's completely unstable. Donc, la plupart de mes injections, si ça, c'est la fissure, vont être de côté. And it walks. Ouais, dans les vides. Et bon, et puis, à un moment donné, tu n'en finis plus. Tu continues à les trouver, tu vois. Tu crois que it's a conspiracy against you, but it's not. It's reality. Okay, let's show you a little bit what lights, please. Okay, so no, so the yeah, let's go to the no. So now here we are, but okay, so sorry, technical problems. Okay, so basically, like Fadlo was saying, this is all cosmetic. It's very beautiful, but a house doesn't have to be this complicated to deal with this. You know, you can have, and not in all cases you can preserve all of it. I think it can be a combination of things, but a place that's an establishment and that's old, now we are protecting history. You know, and I am so optimistic to have people along my side, because this is not a job for not even 1, 2, or 10 people. You know, the more qualified, the more systematic we work, the more patient we are, I think it'll be great. Okay. So basically, what would be very nice to do is to collaborate, whether with an institution or with a funding or with a schooling, and start trainings of plaster, of colors, and of a million techniques. I mean, I can sit here and stay with you till the end of the weekend, and we'll still be talking. So hopefully this was the first step. This is the first time this is seen by someone. Actually, it's been seen, but it hasn't really been exposed. It's been a very large curve, but it would be really, really nice to share this. And there's different solution of sharing it. I don't think it needs to be in a classroom setting all the time. I think it can be a very interactive experience and a very enriching one. And it's really amazing because, okay, you have this, but what you have plenty of in Lebanon, especially in the 50s, they just painted over everything. And the idea of like rediscovering and making the old look new again, that in itself is great. So there's fixing and there's re-bringing back to life. And there's so many things we can do with this, I think. Anybody has questions? Yeah.
Actually, I have two.
Oh.
One technical, one conceptual.
Okay.
The technical first, that's the easier part. When you mentioned that you started with natural material and pigments on the lower levels, and then
on all levels.
But you mentioned acrylics as you went.
Okay, so to get the color of the blue of this bird, I was upstairs with pigments and powders, and it was very difficult. So I would go up and make my color on a palette, come back down, mix the equivalent in the powders, because okay, I'm on a scaffold that's moving.
Yes.
I'm a bit high, and not one bucket did the job here, because there were so many people working on this at the time.
So you didn't use acrylics
whatsoever.
You just used acrylic in the sample to get the right color. Okay, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there was no other way. I mean, you're up, you're moving,
Yeah.
you have powders, you have pigments, you have
Okay.
And then when you do all that, it's really amazing. You go away for like one weekend, decide to use your scaffolding, you have all your solution all mixed, and then you come back and like everything is on the floor. So, you know, because there was not on these jobs, I think color mixing and understanding how things dry and how things work with plasters and mortar, which is very important, the lime plaster, which is very difficult to get here. You know, but on any job of this importance, it was essential to know what was there before, you know, just not to make the mistakes, not to use an oil base, not to use an acrylic, not to use, you know. Yeah, so that's what I meant. I'm sorry. So that's the first question. And the second?
The second one is more reflective, conceptual. Michel, in his presentation, mentioned the Charter of Venice, which raises issues like authenticity, reversibility, etc. These are the biblical principles of restoration.
Right.
Okay, these are not national landmarks or even urban landmarks. They're private residences. And I know from having seen your work before the explosion, Kareen, that you come from a trompe-l'oeil kind of school of
right.
Yeah. So in a way, you're bridging two disciplines: one visual, one about restoration.
They're not very different.
Technically, they require the same skills, but conceptually, they're different schools of thought. One is about creating, the other one is about, in a way.
Well, when I first approached this job, I wanted to do it in a trompe-l'oeil way. Okay, and my client went crazy on me. So I was like, okay, relax. I will remove all the paint. And now I will put it back. In those spots you want to keep them, that's fine. It's about knowing your materials very well. And that doesn't happen overnight. And that doesn't happen, I think, in every country you're in, on different altitude, different places, you're going to have different outcomes. Okay? Like I said, it's a lot of learning, but it stays interesting, you know, especially when you're able to control it, because this is done like restoration. This is not, I did not put paint where I didn't need to put paint. I did not clean, you know, I did not find holes and make a big thing and put plaster and paint it. None of this. So, yeah.
So, but
I mean, if you ask me to do the same house, it'd be easier.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
The energy, the physical energy, and the kind of the willpower that goes into this job is amazing. And I'm privileged to have seen both sides.
Yeah.
During and after completion, thanks to Fadlu.
Yeah.
My question to you, Kareen, and this is open-ended, it's not necessarily for today, is when and how do we begin to reflect about what this means in terms of either the dogmas or the canons that we hold, like authenticity, reversibility, and other basic.
Okay, I think that the job, like Fadlu's job, were probably Italians that came to do it. Probably. I think there's different levels of paintings in different houses, and they're all super beautiful. There's some very naive ones. There are some very elaborate ones. They're not all like this, you know. I think at some point even the housekeepers used to be the painters. Which is the example, I think, in the blue room, the beginning video that you saw, that was a renovation of the blue house. Much more primitive as motifs, okay? If you take an X-ray, if you take a light and you put it in there and you shut off the light and you see all the bandages, at least I've done, there'll probably be a lot of bandages. But I think in the past who worked this house, you already saw their bandages. Now you would have like a crime scene that you don't see. So that's why I can tell you it's authentic. Okay. You will see the image of this bird and, you know, you will see the little dots on him, but you're not going to see other things underneath him. So I think, listen, this in this particular room, it was not a 5-minute thing, and it was a learning thing as well. I think we keep learning, and I think we are open. But most important of this is the structural work was done here. Like I would never ever do this if the structural work was not done, because it just cannot happen. The parts that collapse, yeah, we had a lot after the structure was done soundly. They would just fall. We had plaster parts just fall. Now maybe because it was retained, well, it was looser before. Maybe the plaster that was put was too thick. But no, it's been good surprises since 1920. I'm doing well. Yeah, 2020, I'm doing well. Like seriously, every day, and that's at this point. But anyway, that's to be expected and that sort of things, right? So basically, I'm really, you know, I need to form people, and we need to become a new family. You know, one person alone does not want to do this.
Where can you sign up?
Okay, where can you sign up? So listen, there's going to be more videos. There's going to be card. I have Instagram. I'm not that cool. I don't post every day, but you know, I try, you know. Yasmin really helped me. I only knew like a week ago that I was going to do this. So go look at all the million pictures you took on your iPhones and try to make sense out of all of them. Okay? I didn't do that. She did. So, just to be able to communicate a message. There was so much more to show you. But at the time, man, filming was the last thing on my mind. So, I have cards here. I know there's more videos, more footage, but you know, we're gonna show you one other video, but we're trying not to bore you. We're trying to explain. Now, lights stay off for a change in Lebanon. Okay, go ahead. So, you know, up and down, up and down. You're moving, you're doing this. It's almost like a Charlie Chaplin skit, huh? You're eating your shoes. Okay, so right here I cheat, I use tape. Because I had enough. Okay, here you have literally two different parts of wall, huh? A good gap. So technically, this is easier to do than the rest, because this was just added on. And then you go down to look. خلاص.
Stop chasing shadows, just enjoy the ride.